How many times have you decided you were going to do something to change your life, only to end up a couple weeks later, maybe months later, in the same spot where you were when you already started? Hi, my name's Kirsten. I'm with Water's Edge Tarot, and today we're talking about committing to a decision. Now, this seems like this wouldn't be a complicated thing, but let's be real here. Many of us have made decisions, and our life hasn't changed because we make a decision. Your life changes because you make the commitment. So I'm just going to start out by asking, how many of y'all have made New Year's resolutions? I know I have. How many of those New Year's resolutions actually came true? Well, for me, practically none of them. Because when I made them at New Year's, which is just an obscure time to even wait to make a decision, guys. You can change your life. You can make these decisions at any point, any day, month, week of the year. It does not have to be December 31st or January 1st that things change for you. But back to the New Year's resolution example. I decide, like many of us probably, I want to lose a few pounds, okay? So I choose a diet, or I decide I'm going to go to the gym. And then I do it for, a few weeks, and the next thing I know, I stop. Is it because at the time I didn't really want to make that change? No, I truthfully wanted to make the change. So why didn't I actually stick with it? Why didn't I actually, lose the weight? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So first, let's talk about things that stop us from even making decisions. So like indecision. So back to the weight loss thing. I'm not going to stick with this example forever, guys, but it's just really relatable to almost everybody because most of us have at least some point in our lives wanted to lose some weight. So when you decide that you want to lose weight, are you going to go to a gym? Or are you going to try a diet? Lord knows there's multiple diets out there. Most of them aren't great, but options. So then, now that you're Googling, how do I lose weight? There's a myriad of possibilities and which one's right for you. Well, you know what? This is too much for me to handle. I'm just going to stay home and try to do some home crunches. Okay, cool. That works for you. But you probably already made the decision that nothing's going to work for you. Or you decided that there's too many options and you can't possibly choose. Indecision and choosing not to make a decision are a decision. And those are the decisions that lead us to be exactly where we still are today. Okay, so now let's make an actual decision. How do we make that decision? How do we make it stick? Well, first, we have to make it a priority. So how do we make our decision a priority? All right, let's talk about jobs. We all work in some capacity or another. Maybe we don't all work 9 to 5s, but I'm sure everyone in some capacity works here. I'm going to give 2 examples. One person is looking for a new job because their boss said something yesterday that really made them mad and they're done with this company and you know what? It's not worth their time. Okay, so go look for a new job. The other person is going to look for a new job because he's completely miserable. He's been with this company for years. Nothing's changed. His workload just keeps getting piled more and more on him. Everyone there just respects him and he can never get time off when he asks for it because the office says no. Which one of those 2 people do you think is going to make it more of a priority to find them a new job? Probably the person who's really miserable and who's on his last straw. The person who's just a little mad at their boss, maybe they'll decide, you know what, after I cooled off over the weekend, it really wasn't that big of a deal. So therefore, their priority has shifted. The person who's making it a priority is the one that's going to go after their change. Now, I'm not necessarily saying you have to be completely miserable and just done with the world to make a good decision or to commit to a decision or to make it a priority. What I am saying is if you truly desire change, first off, you're probably not happy if you're wanting change. Second of all, if you truly desire it, it's got to come from a place that means something to you. So you have to be able to make it a priority. And that's important. So now we get to why do we want the change? What is the driving force behind the change? And this is a part too that people tend to forget because yes, it's easy to say I want more money in a job or I want to make more money for a job. Or it's easy to say I want to lose a few pounds. Or it's easy to say I want to make renovations in my house, okay? All these things are really easy to say, but to do and follow through, it's a whole nother ballgame. Because committing doesn't just take time and doesn't just take practice, but it's got to come from the right place. Because guess what, guys? If it's not from the right place, you're not probably going to follow through. That's just truth. I'm sorry. I'm also going to check my notes because this is a big thing and I don't want to miss anything. All right, so now that we've talked about making things a priority, let's figure out what really is the priority, okay? So the person who wants to lose weight, is the priority really just the numbers on the scale? Or is it really maybe that they want to eat healthier? Okay, so if they want to eat healthier, yeah, you can look at all the fad diets, or you could actually take the time to research food. You could take the time to research nutrition. And you're probably going to be like, Kirsten, I don't have all the time in the world to do this. Well, then that's your choice. You're not making it a priority to make time for it. I don't care if you have 5 kids, soccer practice, a 12-hour shift at work. You will always find a way to make a priority, to make time for the things that you prioritize. You just have to make the decision to make time for it. So do the research if truly it is about eating healthier. And then you have to make the change when you go to the store. Do you get that same box meal that you've been eating for years? Or do you actually choose to look up a recipe and say, you know what, today, for just once this week, I'm going to make a meal from scratch. Or I'm going to make a meal that has more vegetables than cheese. I'm not saying you have to completely alter your life with one decision. And that's going to be my next caveat here, is it's a series of decisions. It is a series of commitments. So how do we commit? How do we follow through? Okay? This is where it gets hard. So we have our priority. We know why we want to make the change. But how do we follow through when we want to get out of our comfort zone? And that's kind of part of it too, guys, is we are so in our comfort zone with the way things are that when you want to make a change, you're asking yourself to go outside of your comfort zone. And that can be hard too. And that's where a lot of the resistance is at. A lot of times it's a matter of I have to leave what is easy for me, or I have to do something that's slightly difficult for me. Get over it. I'm sorry, a little tough love right now. You have to do what you have to do, and if it's worth it, if the end result is worth it, you'll put yourself through it. So now let's talk about a little tip that I do to help me continue to make the changes and to stay committed. We're going to go pretend like our decision to make is I want to get more physically fit because I care about my body and I need to just be more physically active. So I chose to get a gym membership, okay? Now, I had a rough day at work and I don't feel like changing my clothes. I don't feel like putting on my shoes and I don't feel like going back out in traffic to go work out, okay? That's the decision. That's what I'm going to voice out loud. So I'm literally going to say out loud everything I just said. I'm going to say out loud, I am choosing not to go to the gym because bad day at work, I don't feel like changing clothes, I don't feel like driving again, and oh wait, I realize now that I'm not prioritizing myself, and these are pretty non-good excuses. Like there's nothing great about that reason for me not to go to the gym. Okay? But you're like, Kirsten, does that mean I have to force myself and get burnt out? No. Okay, so here's another way. By saying it out loud, we're going to practice saying the reasons why we don't want to do things out loud and get ourselves to hear the real reason. So now we're going to say we don't want to go to the gym because, we've had a bad day at work. My leg is actually bothering me. I've been working 12 hours and I need sleep. When I say that out loud, that's a valid reason. That sounds like something where I can be like, okay, if someone else told that to me, I'd be like, you deserve to stay home. But if someone told me and said out loud to me that they didn't want to go to the gym because they didn't want to change clothes, they didn't want to deal with traffic, and it was just a rough day at work, I'd be like, come on, you know you can do this. So say things out loud. Say your reasoning out loud for why you can't make that decision. Say you want to try eating healthier, okay? And you're like, if you're at the store and people are looking at you weird, just pretend like you're on your phone. No one has to know. See, look, I'm talking on my phone right now. No one knows any better. So if you need to, do that. Grab your phone, take it to the store and be like, okay, I need to cook healthier. And if you look at all the vegetables and you're just like, phone, you're just like, I can't make a healthy meal because there's too many vegetables and I don't have a recipe. What does that sound like? That sounds like an excuse. That sounds like you just backing out of something that could take you not even 5 minutes to find a recipe on your phone for like 3 vegetables. Just pick 3 vegetables. Type it in your phone, say Google, find me a recipe with mushrooms, onions, and peppers. I'm sure something will pop up. Buy those things, screenshot the recipe, take it home. Find a way to be committed. Say it out loud for why you want to be committed, but also say it out loud for when you don't want to stay committed. Because if you say it out loud, you're going to hear what you're actually saying. And it's either going to be, okay, this is just a silly excuse that I'm using, or it's going to be, okay, this is real, I'm allowed to slack off today. Because here's the other caveat, okay? Being committed doesn't necessarily mean you do it every day. Being committed means you go back to it on a regular basis. Hear me out, people. Sorry, my nose is itching. Hear me out, people. So I decide that I'm going to walk on a regular basis. My goal is going to be 5 times a week, okay? So I start walking that first week 5 times, no problem, because I'm pumped, I'm motivated, and I'm going to do it. The second week, I only get 4, but that's okay, because I know I can do it. The third week, I'm like, I don't know. Do I want to continue to try walking or don't? Well, guess what? I'm just going to pick up another day. I'm going to go back to 5 days a week if I can do it. And then that fourth week, I get really sick. Oh no, illnesses happens. Life happens. Okay? So I've come from doing 4 to 5 times a week for 3 weeks in a row. Now I'm sick. All right? Now I'm going to try back to do 5 days a week. That's not easy for me to do anymore. I don't have that motivation. I don't have the drive. I just want to sit and recover. Okay, well, try to walk 1 day that week. Make the commitment to walk 1 day that week and build yourself back up into it. And you doing that is going to be you committing to the decision. It's going to be you deciding, I'm making this a priority. It doesn't mean that you lost what you've done. It doesn't mean that, it's for nothing. So you had to take a week off. And now you have to slowly get back into it. You're still getting back into it. So say the first week after you're sick, you only walk 1 day a week. And then the next week you walk 2. And the next day you walk 3. Guess what? I'm sure you're going to make your way back up to 5 days a week. You just have to find a way to stay committed. And yes, people are going to say you need to have self-discipline and that you need to use self-love in these situations. And they're not wrong, okay? But I've listened to how to have better self-discipline. I've listened to, well, just love yourself better. And guess what? Those didn't work for me. Okay? And it's not because they didn't work for me because they weren't true. I just didn't understand what I needed to do to stay committed. So for me, I talked out loud. People might say you're crazy. Let them say you're crazy. Okay? You need to do what you need to take care of yourself. If you don't feel comfortable talking out loud about why you won't commit to your own decision, pretend you're on the phone. I'm sure any of you do it anyway. If you see someone in the store you want to avoid, you pull out your phone. We all do it. Modern problems, modern solutions. Work with me, people. So, how do we stay committed to a decision? First, we have to make it a priority. Okay? How do we make it a priority? We find the real thing that we're wanting out of this decision. We look at it and say, what is it I actually want? What is it I actually need? What part of my life am I hurting or not feeling confident in that I need to make this change for? Once you know how to make it a priority and once you know why you're making it, sticking to it becomes a little easier. And the more you stick with it, the more you do it, the lot easier it gets. I know this sounds kind of crazy for some of you, and I know others of you will probably just laugh it off. That's your decision. What matters is always showing up for yourself. And if the way that you can commit, if the way that you can get to the point of your problem, the way you can make your change is by saying out loud what it is you need to say, is by saying out loud, hearing yourself make the excuse that you're making and not just keeping it in your head, but saying it out loud and realizing that's not good enough, do it. Are you honestly just going to say, I can't change my life and nothing's going to fix me, or are you going to keep trying? Are you going to keep doing it? This video isn't necessarily going to do anything for me. It's going to do something for you. So, if you think that this is something you can do, decide to make the commitment. And realize too that you can make a change at any point. It doesn't have to be December 31st going into January 1st of the next year. It can be now. So commit to the decision. Know your reason to the decision. Find the priority. Find the real reason you want to do it. And then find all the small ways you can commit. Make a plan. Set goals. And when you don't want to follow that plan and you don't want to set those goals, say out loud, I am choosing not to follow this plan because I just don't want to find a recipe. And then guess what? You're probably going to feel silly about the fact that you're just refusing to find a recipe. I say everything, and I said this in the video with love. If this is something that has helped you or that you can resonate with, please either like or subscribe and comment down below what it is that you're committing to and what it is that you want to change. I'll try to coach you along. It's the best I can do. Also, please know I have the free meditation course with the free guided meditations. Link is down below in the descriptions. And I thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you have a blessed day.